stories, create different projects on my own or in collaboration with other people. Just think, and that's invaluable. I've delved into video, into podcasting, a lot of different media, cutting edge things, and actually just met a lot of good friends too. I think CCTV gives you the chance to see more of a bigger holistic picture of Cambridge.
Our hearts are made stronger by how we treat others.
Put her there.
The light you share can impact those around you, but so can the darkness.
Later, twerps. Did Pete saying mean things bother you?
So when you reach out to another person, take a moment to consider how they will feel and let your heart be the key to making a difference. Because
quien llevó mano en lo que hubo fue Andrés, creo yo. En el sentido de que
Good evening, and I am your host, Kim Barnes-Jefferson, and I am just doing a challenge in my Facebook group called Fit Girl Magic, and if you haven't had an opportunity to become a member of the group, just go on Facebook, search Fit Girl Magic, and become a member of the group. And in the group, we're doing a 5-day effortless weight loss mini challenge. And during the challenge, a couple of questions came up about starting exercise. And I have a number of women in the group who are they're new to exercise or just getting back off of a health issue or an injury. And I was like, you know what? Let's take a step back and let's start talking about what it's like to begin exercise. I've been exercising for the past, most of my life. So I don't know. I guess for me, I'm like, I had to take a step back and say, if I was a new person starting this from scratch, what would I need to know? And so the first thing I wanted to say, let's just take a big step back. Why exercise? Okay. The biggest thing about exercise, it helps us manage our weight because, who out there hasn't said, I could lose a few pounds here or there, right? That's first thing. It also helps just with all around general health. There isn't a disease out there that can't benefit from you being exercising, you exercising. And there's also, a number of, in this day and age, number of lifestyle diseases that have had we had a different lifestyle or by making lifestyle changes, we're able to see a decrease in, be it blood pressure, be it diabetes. I have, several of the women in the group, they're looking to come off of medication or have the dosage change, so the dosage be reduced. So they're able to better manage it versus being managed by pharma, right? So who doesn't like that? That's a little bit of a motivation. So the biggest thing that I really want you to think about is also it helps you relieve stress. And for ladies of a certain age, it helps with that hormonal balance. And, think about it. When you get to a certain age, our hormones, just like when we were teenagers, our hormones are in flux for at least about another 10 to 15 years. Your hormones are in flux, and exercise helps you regulate that hormonal change. And if my BMI is over 30, then I have an increased chance of getting a lifestyle type disease. So those are, one of the reasons why I want to start exercising if I haven't been exercising. And the other thing is for, this is for both men and women. It's a sign of aging, right? It's a sign of aging, just like, some wrinkles, little sign of aging. After 30, every decade, we can lose 3 to 5% of our muscle mass. So if you don't have any muscle mass, and you've seen everyone say, oh, my flabby arm, or my flabby this, my flabby that. That is just a byproduct of aging. Now, can it be stopped? Absolutely. Not stopped. Can it be slowed down? Can it be counteracted? Absolutely. It definitely can be counteracted. But here's where, exercise comes in. here's the theme, exercise. Here's where exercise comes in. And one of the reasons why we see it a lot in, you probably won't, so at 30, you're probably not going to notice it. You're probably not going to notice it until about maybe 50 or 60 if you're not active. So, if you're not active and you live a very sedentary lifestyle, you're going to see it more. If you don't have a very balanced lifestyle, you're going to see it a lot more. And it also leads to increased inflammation in your body. And if you are someone who is a stress ball, and I've done another show on stress, and I will link that in the show notes because I think everybody needs to figure out ways to manage their stress and not let stress just be something that is a fact of life, okay? I want people to think about stress. Managing stress is like that hairy mole that you should just take care of. All right, so what happens? What should I do? I'm working. I want to work out. What should I do? And the thing I first want you to know, I need you to start doing things that you like. You don't have to go and do a boot camp class. You don't have to go do CrossFit. You don't have to do any of that stuff. I want you to just feel like, what do I like? And if you had exercise in the past, I want you to give up any notion that you're going to go back and you're going to be, for me, the Susan of yesteryear, right? You are the Susan of today, and you're going to meet Susan of today where Susan of today is. None of this, well, 10 years ago, I was able to do this. Well, you know what? That girl's gone. We're talking about Susan today, right? So the first thing I want to think about is that exercise is a balance. Is a balance. Jack LaLanne, who, in my opinion, is the father of modern health and fitness, and he sums it up perfectly. Exercise is king, nutrition is queen, right? You can't outrun a bad diet. Despite what you think, your body is not a calculator. You can't say, I took in 500 calories, I'm going to burn 500 calories, and it's going to be net neutral. That's just not how it works. I mean, that would be amazing. My job would be so easy, and everyone would be running around like skinny, right? Everyone would be running around with their dream body. But that's not how it works. So I want you to get over the notion that if I eat bad, and if you can't see me, I'm air quoting, if I eat bad, all I have to do is go to the gym and burn it off, or all I have to do is not eat and I'll just, make up. There is no makeup. It's like, this is life. This isn't like, college where you missed a class, you can go to your teacher and say, hey, how do I make that up? There are no makeups, right? It all starts out with great choices. Okay. So I'm off my soapbox on that. So I want you to get over the notion that I need to exercise more and I need to eat less. That worked for a while, but our bodies are smart, right? Our bodies will eventually be like, girl, I see you running around with chicken with your head cut off, and then you're going to not feed me. I'm not going to give you what you want. Just truth. Just so you know, between you and me, you're going to work your tushy off, and I am just going to sit over here and laugh at you. So if that is your first line of defense when it comes to starting to exercise, you have to do more and eat less, it's not going to work for you. Because typically when you up your exercise, there's compensation, right? There's a give and a take. And so the more energy I burn in my body, the more my body's going to be like, feed me. And then I'm going to crave like a mofo, and I'm going to start eating crap if I am not fueling my body in the right ways. So I have two philosophies that I tell people. There are some parts of the year that you're going to eat more food and you're going to exercise more. Then there's some parts of the year where you're going to eat less and you're going to exercise less. So for me, the winter is my jam. The winter is, I live in New England. I'm snowbound pretty much from like November to April. So that's my jam. That's when I'm like, I am all about comfort and I'm home. And, I go to the gym. Like that's my escape for the bad weather. I go to the gym and that's my time that I eat more food and I exercise more. The summertime, that's my jam. And so I'm exercising less and I'm eating less. And so that's the cycle that I go through. Now, that's what works best for me. but that's something you will have to decide, and you go through your ebb and flow. What's going to work best for you? Now, here's what I want you to start thinking about is like, how do I fuel this growth, right? Because I told you 80% of my gains are going to come from what I put into my body. So the first thing I always want people to do is you gotta eat protein. And when I say protein, I'm not saying cheese, I'm not saying bacon and eggs. That's not what I mean. I'm talking about a quality protein. I'm talking about fish. I'm talking about lean protein. I'm talking about lean chicken, lean cuts of beef, eggs. That's what I'm talking about. That is what is going to really give you the boost that you need in order to build, like, stave off that 3 to 5% of muscle loss. Now, I also need to have a good quantity of it. And, I need you to have at least 30 grams every meal that you eat. And so when I say 30 grams, that's not the weight, that is the macronutrient count. 30 grams of protein in any meal that you have. And the beauty about protein, it's very filling. So you're not going to be, feel like you're eating like a bird. It's very filling and it's very satiating. The second piece is that, and also because muscle becomes more resistant to the stimulus as we age. So the more protein I shovel into it, the more it'll remember, oh yeah, that's what I do with protein. All right. The second piece is vitamin D. Now, whenever you get a physical, and I'm sure most doctors are doing this now, but I want you to get your vitamin D levels checked. And, back in the day, if you're a woman of my age, we didn't do sunscreen. Like, that wasn't a thing. Like, my mother didn't slather me down with sunscreen. She just sent me out to play. I don't think I had bug spray on either. But she just sent me out to play. And so we were able to soak up all the vitamin D from the sun. Now we lather ourselves with sunscreen, we cover ourselves up, so we're not getting as much vitamin D. So I recommend everyone, the next time you get a physical, ask your doctor to check your vitamin D levels, because they have found that vitamin D levels also play a part in us losing our muscle. So, if you are looking for a supplement, vitamin D is probably one of the top 5 that I would recommend people need. But that's definitely something I want you to chat with your doctor about to see how many IUs of vitamin D you would need. The third piece is omega-3, and that helps your body with inflammation. Now, I know many of you want to just take a pill. That's great, but I really want you to focus in on taking omega-3 in a good fat oil. So that is, I want you to think any oil with the exception of sunflower, safflower, corn, vegetable, soy. Those oils I just named are not on the list. Any oil, any grocery store you go to, there will be a whole selection. As long as you don't pick any of those 5 oils I just named, you're good. Rock on with your bad self, okay? So how do we start, right? How do we start? The biggest thing I talked about this earlier in the day is we need to make a choice. What are we going to do? What is the exercise that we're going to do? Am I gonna go join a gym? Am I gonna go join one of these boutique type classes, like the Orange Theories of the world or the Soul Cycles of the world? Am I gonna do something on my own? Am I gonna use Wii Fit? Am I gonna get a Peloton bike? What am I going to do? And make that choice. The second choice you have to make is, how many days a week can I honestly commit? And I know in my mind, so many people are like, I could do it every day. I'm going to call bull hockey right now. Bull hockey. I want you to literally open up your calendar or open up your phone, however you use a calendar. I'm a paper girl when it comes to this kind of stuff. And just say, what does my week look like? If I were to plan this week, so I typically work out on Monday. Well, Sunday, it was like a big day. I was exhausted. The last thing on my mind was going to the gym on Monday. I typically take Wednesdays off. So I was like, you know what? Monday is gone, but I'm going to move it to Wednesday. So I want you to start thinking, playing a little stratego. with your schedule. Like what days work best for you. And then also give yourself that good, better, or best scale. And what that means is, what's a good week for you? Is a good week for you 2 workouts? Is a better week 3 workouts? Is a best week 6 workouts? What does that look like for you? And give yourself the sliding scale, because life, right? We all have a life. Kids get sick. Bosses throw last minute projects at us. Flat tires, you get sick. Just this whole ever revolving thing called life, where I want you to not get stuck in this like blame, shame, game, or putting it off because you're sore because you went too hard the day before. So make the choice of what it is that you're going to do and how many days a week you're going to do it. Like for me, I don't have a boss. I could go to the gym every day if I want. But I know for me, I can go 3 to 4 days a week based on things that I know have like popped up in my life. And most times I go 5, but I know at minimum I'm going to go 3, and I typically hit 5. And that has been my pattern. And so I don't ever say to myself, I'm working out 6 days. No, because that's where I am. And so I want you to meet yourself where you are versus having this, this vision of where you think you should be. Or Lauren's at CrossFit 5 days a week, so I'm going to do CrossFit 5 days a week. No. I want you to come up with your own schedule, your own workout. And start simple, right? It could be as simple as going for a walk. And the beauty about a walk is that if you are a woman over 40, that walk is very good for stabilizing your sympathetic nervous system. It's good for stabilizing cortisol, and it's good for stabilizing your hormones. And it's just being out in nature is a very meditative for our body. As humans, we've only been inside, thousands of years ago, we lived in a cave and we spent a lot of time outside. Even, in the 1800s, if you think about how much time we spent outside, most people were farmers, or we had to walk long stretches in order to get, here, there, and everywhere. Now, our longer stretches, like I walk 10 steps to my car, I park, I might walk 20 steps to the building, I might walk 30 steps to my cube. Right? So I want you to think about, walking. There's nothing wrong with walking. I live for my walks. I'm trying to get as many walks as I can between now and the time my hard deck of coldness comes up. So I want you to really think about starting simple and what feels right for you, right? Maybe start with 2 days a week. And if 2 days a week feels amazing, maybe 3 days, you try 3 days a week. And if 3 days a week is like, ooh, that just doesn't really feel right, then don't do 3 days a week, right? I want you to start to build up to where you are, okay? And then, as I talked about, put it in your calendar. Put it in your calendar like an appointment you can't forget, like your dentist appointment. If you cancel on your dentist, I know my dentist, I think it's 48 hours. But let's just say 24 hours. If I cancel my dentist 24 hours in advance, they're going to charge me, I think it's like $50. So I want you to really think about these, treat workouts just like that. Would you be throwing away $50 and on, not honoring yourself and going to the gym? The other thing is, how do you make this a routine, right? Because in my Fit Girl Magic formula, it all starts with having great habits that builds into a routine, that builds into consistency, and that's what ultimately gives you the result, right? If you're, everyone's always looking for the silver bullet. That's your silver bullet, my kings and queens. That is your silver bullet. You need to build this habit, and habit is like a muscle. So how can you turn this into a habit? For me, I had to start going first thing in the morning, because inevitably something happened during the day and I would be like, I'm not going, or I would shift to like 4:00 in the afternoon. And like 4:00 was always that time that was kind of like that quiet time in the office. And I would go to the gym, and it was my way of like decompressing from the day. Also, I when I first started, I started running, and that was my friend and we worked together. and we would go for a run and kibitz about our boss. She was like the devil, but it's fine. And we were just literally like kibitz about our boss, and that made that like 5 mile run go by really fast. So that's, that's how I started. That's how I kind of figure out, how do I fit this in? Then it shifted into the morning. Then I started inviting my husband. So now it's like become like what we do. We have, we sit down at the beginning of the month and we kind of map out, what you're doing. And then we're like, okay, these are the weeks we're going to work out together. It might seem a little like over organized and over orchestrated, but that's how it happens for me, right? If I don't plan, it doesn't happen. If I don't make it a priority, it doesn't happen. And, that's what happens to many people. You don't make it a plan, you don't make it a priority. And so then it just doesn't happen. And then here's where like you tap into the courage, right? The last piece is tapping into the courage. I get it. You might have tried in the past and you failed miserably. Okay, you found something that didn't work. Now let's try something else. Or maybe you did too much too soon and, you just kind of like went, balls to the wall and you got injured and then you just stopped. And, recently one of my clients said to me, she just restarted her exercise program and she got injured. And I'm like, all right, how are you doing with that? Because usually that's one of the biggest things that derails people is that they get injured. And I said, how are you doing with that? And she said, I'm really proud of myself. She said, typically in the past, I would have just said, well, it's a sign. I hurt myself. It's a sign that I should not be exercising. And then she said, you know what? Now I've said, I can't do anything with my lower body for the next, couple of weeks, whatever the doctor told her. But she's like, I can still go to the gym and I can still do upper body stuff. I can still go to the gym and I can still walk on the treadmill, or I could go outside and go for a walk. And I was like, that's the mindset shift that I want you to start thinking about. Because when I change my mind, my body's going to come along for the ride. Because our mind is the commander. Our mind will tell us what we can and what we can't do. And so I want you to start thinking about what you can do. You learned what you can't do. Cross that off the list. Focus on what you can do and just keep doing that, because that's what's going to lead to consistency. Everyone always talks to me about results. I want results. I want results. I want results. Well, I'm sorry. Sassy alert. What the heck are you doing on a consistent basis? And when I say consistent, I'm like, this week I rocked it. How about, did you rock it give me a month of rocking it? Then I'm going to say, can we rock that for another month? Can we rock that for another month? Because if you can give me 12 weeks of rocking it, and then you say, where the hell are my results? You have every right to put your hands on your hips and get pissed. You have every right to do that. So I really want you to think about, what can you do in a sustainable way? All right. So then here are some tacticals, because everyone always like, pull out your pens. I want the tactical. Give me the stuff. Typically, I recommend for my beginners that they start working out anywhere from 2 to 3 times a week. And they are doing a full body exercise. They're doing big muscle groups. So they're using they're squatting, they're doing push-ups, they're doing bent over rows, they're throwing in, some biceps, they're throwing in some triceps, right? They're using big muscle groups. They're doing lunges. Now, I know I have some people out there that have, some type of constraints, be it they've had hip replacements, knee replacements, they have somewhere in their body is an arthritic joint. That's fine. What I'm saying is you can work around those potential injuries, those potential limitations. Yes, I can speak English. Walk around those potential limitations. I don't want you to be your disease, right? I want you to be what you can be in spite of your disease. That, you might have a bum knee, but that doesn't mean the 85% of the rest of your body can't be functioning, right? You just work within your limitations and you work around them. If you can't, currently stand right now because, you might have, I had a client who had 2 knee replacements, like at the same time. So she did upper body work. She did upper body exercises. Like she was still, walking on crutches, walking with a walker, but she did upper body exercises. Great. We're going to work with what you got, and we'll work around the injury or the limitation depending on whatever the heck it is. And then I really want you to also think about, having that hybrid. Are there times that that in your life that it's better for you to eat more? And are there times in your life that it's better for you to eat less? I don't really eat a lot in the summertime. It's hot, right? I don't really like to eat when it's hot. But in the wintertime, we want those heartier foods. Now, when I say heartier comfort foods, I'm not talking junk food, right? I'm talking like more like stews. Me and my crock pot, we are BFFs during this time of the year. And, I really want you to start listen to this again and kind of say, how do you make this into your own practical plan? How do you take what I've given you and apply it? Because what I know about you is that you listen to all this stuff. You listen, take all the downloads, but do you apply? And my goal is to make the information that you get from me, that you get from the Fit Girl Magic podcast, to be as simple, sustainable, and easy to digest as possible. Because guess what? It don't need to be complicated. Complicated makes you stop doing stuff. So I would love to hear your feedback. Do me a favor, screenshot this and hit me up in the socials and let me know what's your one takeaway. You can find me on Instagram at Kim Jefferson Coach, or you can find me on Facebook at Kim Barnes Jefferson. It has been awesome chatting with you today. I love, sharing my knowledge. And if there's ever anything you want me to talk about, hit me up, let me know. I am wide open to suggestions. I'm just loving this format, and I just can't wait to just share even more awesomeness with you. Have an awesome day.